Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I am Shruti Agrawal, your host for today's session, brought to you by GeneCube, a platform empowering startups through innovation, mentorship, and collaboration. Today, we'll be exploring a crucial topic for every founder: finding product market fit to maximize your user adoption. If, because building a product is one thing, but ensuring it truly fits the market and users love it is what defines the success. To help us understand how to balance product, market, and growth, we are joined by Mr. Rahul Raghav, co-founder of TWT Venture Studio, business scaling expert and startup mentor. With over 13 years of experience leading high growth teams and building scalable business systems, Rahul has worked closely with founders to help them execute better aligned teams and scale sustainably. At TWT Venture Studio, we support startups in different ranges through programs focused on business execution, growth acceleration, and capital facilitation. We are excited to have him here to share his insights on achieving product market fit and maximize user adoption. So, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Rahul Raghav. Over to you, Rahul.
Thank you. That was a nice introduction. Thank you so much for that. And I think it's one of the most interesting and important topic we have today to discuss about. And finding product market fit in terms of whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or an entrepreneur who already started building a startup, whichever stage you are in, it's very important. Like even when you are a grown startup where you want to do pivot, right product market fit is very crucial, and increasing that or maximizing that user adoption is a crucial point to have. So today I really want to talk about how do we look at it and what is that pathway we create in terms of finding product market fit. So and I think one more element I really want all these founders to think is that, okay, so when you think about how do you find product market fit, you also have to think about how do you find a founder market fit also, because being a founder you also maybe start taking your first step or start your journey right now when you also travel with finding the product market fit. So technically when a product is born, a founder is also born, so that journey actually goes in parallel, right? So you also will figure out as a founder whether are you fit for this market in terms of this journey. So that journey always goes together, so remember that. And also let's look at much deeper in terms of how do we do this fine product market fit and increase the user adoption rate naturally. So if we talk about like what is product market fit, so it's where basically you as a founder identified a problem, and what solution can save this, or reduce this problem, or actually solve this problem. So then but I mean, as a founder, you have a full confidence, or your teammates or your core team, everybody is very clear and very sure that this solution can actually solve this, right? So then maybe you will take one more step ahead and you go and build that product or that service, whatever it is, right? Then at that point, your confidence, your gut feel, all that is great, but you also really now have to understand whether this will work in the market or not, whether people are ready to pay for this or not, right? So that is when exactly you go and look for market fit, and that actually is the process or the definition itself talks about. So users return frequently, like somebody purchase something from you as a product or service. If they're coming back, definitely that is a market fit. There is a relevance for your product or service in the market. That's something very clear indicator. Customer satisfaction is high, where there is something called NPS, Net Promoter Score, which you might be aware, or if you're not very much aware, you also can look at and search for it. It's called NPS, Net Promoter Score. So there are promoters, detractors, and passives. So detractors minus promoters percentage is actually called NPS. So if the customer satisfaction is high, then that also indicates that your product is fit for the market. And then demand exceeds your marketing efforts, which means like there is organically customers are growing, and that also shows that market is asking for more and more, which is creating more demand, which also is an opportunity for multiple things like increasing price or opportunity to expand all that. Yeah. Now, the product market fit journey, achieving PMF definitely is a process. There is a three-stage process usually people follow. See, when I also talk about the processes, systems, structures, all that, it doesn't have to be always like this. That's what I personally believe. Because this is a framework I'm trying to share, but in the same time, you also need to understand that you can have your own methods, you can have your own style of approach, because certain products and certain things, you really have to be crazy and try it out in the market and see. Right? So three stages. Exploration is where you really have to identify the right market. So when we say right market, there are multiple things like economical background of the customers. We will definitely talk about customer persona a little later, but yeah, that's exactly like you really have to understand who is your target audience, right? Who is going to buy your product? Who is having that problem which where you have a solution for, right? So you really have to explore and identify your right market and user needs. That's one. Secondly, validation. So when your problem, you are clear that okay, so I know this is the problem, this is the people, this is the market size. Where if I build this product solution and give them, they'll possibly buy this, and there's a maximum uh, capacity of revenue this much, right? Then now we have to validate it. Like these all are like our calculations or all our assumptions. So how do we validate? And that's where we create MVP, minimum viable product, right? So based on the so we may have multiple phases to it, depends on the product or depends on the service. So we will go to different people, different customers, potential customers. We will maybe give them free or with minimum cost, and we'll give different version to it, multiple version, and then finally we have a viable product. So after multiple stages of validation, we have a viable product, which is like a good product where that problem is solved by using this product, and it can be scaled also. So we can say, hey, we have an MVP which is ready to scale, ready to go out in the market in a way, right? So then the optimization. So once things has to go out of your hand, because till MVP end, it is in your hand. Like you have a lot of control on the product, a lot of control on the service, right? From there, once you hit the market, once you start throwing to the market, then you have not much control in terms of like how things are going. In the sense, like the market is more, things are going faster and faster and faster. Pace is definitely higher. That's when your crucial part is optimization. Like one side, like I said, the NPS, the customer satisfaction to be balanced, the quality cannot be compromised. In the same time, you also have to scale, right? Where your employee size will increase initially, maybe four or five of your friends or you and your co-founders start this. You do all that. So it's, and you test on the very limited number of market people. So after that, when it goes to a larger market, it's like it's beyond your hands. There are multiple people around you. There are so many employees working, systems, process, distribution channels, whatever it is, right? Then it is very, very crucial how you maintain, how you create processes, how you create systems for it. So that is how that product market fit journey gonna look like. Now, the product market fit pyramid, if you look at, there are six things to it. Six things to actually think about. First one is target customer, right? Like I said, who are you building this for? Who is your customer? What are their problems? What do they really need? I mean, how do they react to it? Like, if you build this way, how do they react to it? If you build that way, how that is going to reflect on them. So you really have to understand your customers very much. And unless you don't understand the customers, you won't be able to build it for a very specific target audience. And a lot of time founders make this mistake where they think, okay, this is a good solution for me, and I think, okay, this can be given to so many people, which doesn't work, right? Because and sometimes we feel like, hey, people I know, they all say, hey, it's a good idea. Maybe because they are saying they just want to encourage you. That doesn't mean that they are right customers to it. So you really have to define like who is your customer, what exactly they need, what is their biggest problem, whether they have the paying capacity to it. Will they their retention can be higher in this, or will they come back and use this again? So you really have to define that target customer, right? Then underserved needs, like what problem remains unsolved, like that clarity. Because sometimes you start with a problem, then you know that, hey, this is not a big problem, it's a very small problem, and people might not like take it serious or look at it and pay for it. So you really have to figure out what is the root cause. Because sometimes I know for a fact, I know one of the founder who started an online workout platform. So that platform was actually serving online gym workout sessions. And after some point, they realized that, hey, and most of the customers coming by asking, hey, I want to reduce my weight, right? And mostly women coming there because one of the trainer was women, and they keep coming there. So after about 6 months or 8 months, they realized that okay, actually, we are reducing their fat or their body weight and all that. It's great, but they actually went and talked to most of the customers to understand why did they gain weight, right? And that's when they understood that, hey, most of the customers coming there were for reducing or controlling PCOD. That's a condition coming on women. So then they understood that actually we are not solving a problem. We are just covering up what is they are suffering from. So they really want to pivot. And after that 8 months, then they actually have to pivot completely to focusing on PCOD because they want to really solve that root cause, right? So that is exactly when that's exactly a lot of startups does in the ground. Because when you go and hit the ground, you come and realize that, oh my God, hey, this is not what exactly the problem is much deeper than this. So they go deeper, they solve it. So that always happens. Then the value proposition, which is your product the best, why is your product is the best solution? Because obviously there can be so many people thinking about the same solution, or they already thought about it, they are in the market, they are purchasing, or customer base is much higher than us when we start. All that will be there. So in comparison, what is your value proposition, right? That value proposition defines why people have to switch from one platform to the other, or one product to your product, or one service to your service, right? So that value proposition defines how you pull the crowd, how you pull the audience, how you pull the customers to you. Feature set, what functionalities deliver the value. So obviously you would have seen, like, feature, if you look at two cars, the feature is commonly discussed, and why we have to pick that or this, all that is very useful in conversations. UI UX design, I would also call it as customer experience design, where how the customer's journey is going to look like. Then metrics, metrics wise is like, I always say data is your language when you are inside the business as founders, because that only will tell you or help you to build as a founder also to take decisions beyond emotions. And that actually help you in terms of, or measurable elements will help you in terms of, taking crucial decisions for growth. We'll also deep dive little more on these sites, because identifying target users. First, you definitely have to define the persona, where you have to look at their economical background, geographical background, and also their living style. All that factors help you to identify, hey, even when you think about marketing, for example, or branding, for example, all these elements, hey, what kind of content I really have to prepare for, because that help you in terms of hooking them, right? So customer persona, defining customer persona is a very crucial factor. Then understand their pain points, behaviors, motivations, and then that is where you really hook them, and focus on users who feel the problem most deeply. So, like there are two cases into it. Sometimes they really have the problem. Sometimes you inject the fear or inject the motivation to create a problem, right? So, in different ways, you actually create the problem, or you make them or help them identify the problem within them deeply. And then the next steps are taken. Then problem validation wise, talk to real users, collect honest insights. Maybe sometimes your friends, your family, they all will be encouraging. So might not give you a realistic idea where when you go and hit the market. Again, like you look at tier one cities, the kind of response can be different. Tier two, when you go from tier one to tier two, it is different. Then two to three, it is different. So whichever tier of society, whichever tier of cities you go, definitely the problem and its validation can be very different. Users can be very different. Their patterns are different. So you really have to define that. When you define the customer persona, you also have to, like I said, the geographical definition also have to be coming there. So you really have to look at or test on different tires. I would say like tier one you test with few customers, tier two you test, tier three you test, so that you have an understanding of how this will work, which tire this will work better. Then confirm that the problem is urgent, frequent, and valuable to solve. That's the only way this will survive for long. Otherwise, it's like very temporary. People will come and taste it or test it and then gone. You won't be able to grow, right? Then avoid assumptions, rely on data and feedback, because naturally we will be very high. We will be very much pumped up with the solution because it's like our baby, right? So we are very much excited, but know that really, I mean, if you don't relay or look at the data and stick on the assumptions and feelings, there's high chances where you get into a very different direction, and you may lose what you really can contribute as a problem solver in society. Cool. Third one is solution validation. That's an MVP approach where a simple version focused on solving the key pain points, right? Keep it as simple as possible, because the more you complicate it, the customers definitely also get confused. The complication actually increase confusion for customers. So at their end, it must be the most simple, convenient solution, right? So, and like, there must be a system where every single customer coming to you, whether your product or service is purchasing, they're giving you feedback from day one. It's not like, okay, I'll sell this product to 500 customers and then only I'll start asking feedback. No, from day one, from product first sales, you must start your feedbacks. That is when you really stick on solving that problem and making it better. Measure engagement and satisfaction before scaling, because that, like I said, the NPS, if you go and measure and how customers are engaged with you and your business and your products and your service, that actually help you understand whether this is scalable or not. And when you also think about scaling, understand that if your product is fit in tier one city, it might not fit in tier two city. Or if your product is fit for one state, it might not fit in the other state, or one country to the other. So all that differences to be very well looked into while you do this. Measuring product market fit, that's the another part where retention rate, customer retention rate is something you really look at. That's a critical data to look at, because if your product and your service and its quality, pricing, and its purpose and ability to solve the problem is great, definitely people will stick to it. People will retain as a customer for you. Churn rate is the directly opposite of it, where to understand or identify why people leave as users from your end, because maybe they're not satisfied. And for me, personally, I would say I would focus more on the churn rate, not because of there is a problem, because of it's an opportunity. While if you can try and talk to those people who are leaving as customers and identify why they left, or what problem or what issue is been bothering them, or why they don't want to stick to us. That actually help you to grow as a company, grow as a startup, grow as a product, grow as a founder. So that is something very, very important, because like we said, product wise, you also have to take a feedback. You also have to take a feedback as a whole company, brand, marketing, all the aspects you can do that. So I've been already talking about net promoter score, or like how they are recommending, or how willing they are recommending to other customers or potential other customers. And then engagement metrics, time spent, feature usage, and repeat actions. That will tell us like how customers are engaged in your product or service. So now, step five is maximizing user adoption. So simplify the onboarding process. They shouldn't be feeling like, oh my God, if I have to pay for this and also have to take through all this, will be very difficult. So make it very, very simple onboarding process, or a purchase process. Like if you are running an e-commerce website, it must be very easy. Like usually one of the mistakes a lot of founders make also is that when you build an e-com website, you try to make it so beautiful, right? But also there is a balance between that beauty and the convenience, or the simplification, I would say. That's very important. Sometimes you really want to make it look so good, but that looking so good might not be very useful for people to come and experience that purchase, right? So always keep it simple and easy for them. Now demonstrate value within the first few minutes. Like when they come in as soon as they join in or come in as your customers, demonstrate that value. They should feel like, okay, hey, there is a value. Wow, that wow feeling, that wow impact must be coming there. Uh, then offer guided experience or tool tips, because it can be obviously there is a customer journey for anything, like whether you are selling a product or service or whatever it is, there's a customer journey. So that there must be a guiding support system for that customer journey, whether or tricks and tools and tips, which helps, right? Then reinforce positive usage patterns through reminders and updates, so that there is a high chance you increase the retention. Now, step six is creating feedback loops. So when you have to create feedback loops, that is when you know that, okay, hey, that's the best way to improve, because you get an opportunity to interact with so many people in the market. They are right of your audience, and they can tell you, hey, what is good, what is bad. But as founders, also you also have to keep in mind that when customers talk to you about so many things, they might not be aware of what is your vision, right? So a lot of time, customers tell you what they want, but it might not be aligned with your vision, or might be aligned with your vision. So whatever is aligned with your vision, pick it up and use it. Whichever is not aligned with your visions, please don't take it, because that sensibility is also very crucial. Otherwise, I have seen founders taking feedbacks, and they take all the feedbacks, and then because of that they make changes, and then they eventually die off, right? So one is continuous feedback. Ensure your product evolves with user needs. Prioritize changes that align with your core value proposition. And then structural channels, like maybe in-app surveys or customer support analytics or data dashboards in terms of usage. All that will help you to understand how customers are experiencing your product or service. And the next one is sustaining product market fit, right? So keep monitoring satisfaction metrics. Then prevent product drift by revisiting core value often, because there's a high chance, like maybe you sold your product to 100 people, one or two people coming and say, hey, this is not a good product. Why don't you try this? Natural tendency also can be where we try to figure out, okay, let's change it, right? But the problem is that is only 2% of your existing customers, which is very, very negligible. right? That's what I was talking about. Don't take all the feedback as such. Then anticipate market shift and new user behaviors. Obviously, that's a pattern you as a founder keep learning, because we all know, like, generation to generation, how it is changing, how fast society is changing, culture is changing, people's response to things are changing. So it's very important as a founder, you keep standing on top and understanding what is happening in terms of user and their behaviors. Then strengthen brand trust through reliability and responsiveness. Then that's when people, I mean, like, if you really want to reduce your CAC, customer acquisition costs, you really have to also start building the brand. But it shouldn't be like, you're bleeding and building the brand. It should be a balanced process where you generate revenue, at the same time you also build the brand. And it's a balanced game where you obviously take, as a founder, you take the risk, but when you take risks, also you have to make sure there's a reward coming in. Common mistakes to avoid in this journey. One is building before validating the problem, where, like I said, it comes from the excitement part. Please avoid that. Targeting too broad a user base, because, like, you try to do it in very wide range, and then wait till that whole range to catch upon, and then create pivot or whatever changes to make or whatever innovation to bring in. That also can actually kill you. Minimum time, minimum size, and then you test it, and whether it's working or not is your immediate take. Then third is ignoring negative feedback. Like I said, especially people who may leave from your customer base, they may say multiple negatives. Say, this is bad, that is bad, your service was bad, your product was bad, quality was bad. All that is what actually your asset is in the product market fit journey. That is your biggest asset, because that is the only thing can help you in terms of building a good MVP, right? Then overcomplicating MVP features, because MVP must be MVP. Don't create a full product and say I have an MVP. MVP, again, like, once you figure out the PMF, then you build the MVP. That MVP should be a basic one, and it should have enough space to build the other side, right? And that's the only way you can make it simple also. Measuring vanity metrics instead of true adoption, right? Because like, get out of your emotions, get out of your gut feelings at the initial stage. Go and ask the market whether you need it or not. That's the best way to get into a market and say, I have a product or I have a startup. So thank you so much. I hope, I believe this short time was useful for you. I really hope, as founders, you are building good startup, great startups, and obviously this has to be a good start for you. While you build your startup, while you build your product, build yourself also, because, like I said, that's a parallel journey you take. Enjoy that journey. That's something very special, very beautiful. All the very best. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, before ending the session, we have one or two questions from some of our startups. So,
Sure.
Robin is asking us, what role does branding play once product market fit is achieved?
Okay, so once you know that your product is fit for the market, and your MVP is ready, that product is fit for the market, then that is when, okay, so now, so how do I let the world know that I have this solution, right? I have this solution, which is great, which is ready for the market, it's fit for the market. Minimum testing and viability has been done. All that is done. Now, how do I really reach people? And like, in simple words, branding plays a biggest role, because the more people know about it and know multiple times or heard, I mean, maybe listening, they would have heard of something, they would have seen somewhere. So that multiple times they keep listening about it, keep seeing things, or maybe they would have touched and felt it, or somebody would have told them, whichever way, right? So multiple angle, multiple degree, if that is touching them, that is when the brand is built. And like even also you look at like after some point when you grow the startup, if you really have to go and pitch in front of a investor or somebody to acquire, one of the biggest thing they also look at is like, what is the IP value, intellectual property value of the brand, right? So because that actually tells whether this is scalable or not. How many people know about it? How many people are ready to accept that it as a brand, right? So branding plays a crucial role. It's a huge topic as such. How do you build that branding identity? How do you really utilize that branding identity? How do you build without bleeding so much? Because that's also a blunder. A lot of people go and do it. It has to be very parallel. So don't try to build a bubble, and because sometimes that if somebody come and poke it, it can burst out. So you really have to build a strong one where a lot of muscles to it, a lot of fillings to it. So it has to be a parallel journey. Sometimes you do a lot of branding activity and you don't know how to manage the customer because a large pool will comes in. So or maybe you don't have enough production to it for handling it. So there are a lot of equations to be played inside, but branding has a crucial, critical role to play for sure. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for answering Robin's question. And we have another question, which is which
Yeah.
metrics matters most to prove product market fit, retention, revenue, or engagement?
I would say NPS for sure. Because until unless if your customers are not satisfied, nothing is going to change, right? But retention is not going to change, or your revenue is not going to increase, or even none of those, right? So I would say the most crucial, critical is NPS, because and when you do NPS also, I would suggest like if it depends on the possibility, but try to directly get it from customers on the on conversations as much as possible. Like one of the company I work with, we have a 12-member team just for measuring NPS with the customers. They interact with customers and understand what are the feedbacks. I mean, NPS is basically like like I said, uh, promoters, passive, and detractors. The three categories of people will be there. 0 to 10 is the scale for NPS. 0 to 6 is known as detractors. So anybody who give a score in out of 10 between 0 and 6, they are known as detractors. Anybody who gives score between 7 and 8, they are known as passive. And then anybody who gives score between 9 and 10, they are known as promoters. So usually the people who give 9 and 10, and they are those are promoters. Promoters, percentage of promoters minus percentage of detractors is what your NPS score is. So people give 9 and 10. Usually they are very much satisfied and they are willing to promote your product or service to other customers or potential customers. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for answering those questions. And again, thank you for such an insightful session. So, on behalf of GeneCube and everyone here, we truly appreciate the time, knowledge, and experience you have shared with us today. And to all our participants, thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our next GeneCube session. Thank you again for the session, sir. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much.